Hi there. It's your second favorite DP right here, okay? No, that's Deadpool, you silly little Hufflepuff. Anyways, I'm gonna need you to shut up that pretty little mouth of yours and pay attention because the show's about to start, alright? And, I don't know about you, but I know who's my vote for sexiest ex-soldier turned pop culture show host. Alright, enough foreplay. Let's get on with the show.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everybody, welcome one and all. Today is January 17, 2023. This is episode 120 of Pop Culture Warrior. It's the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I am CQ. I'm your Pop Culture Warrior. And joining me tonight is tonight's special guest co-host. He's a good friend of mine. Can't wait to get into how we met. It's a funny story. But he is the man in the bubble for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Massey, everybody. Say hi, Massey.
Hey, what's going on, man? And
what's
everybody.
Up, brother?
I'm a little upset there wasn't any like bumper applause to bring my ass in.
Yay!
Yeah, that's much better.
Massey,
thanks
man.
for having me on tonight, man.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. You have no idea. This has been it's been too long that I wanted to bring you on here and let the people get to know you real quick. Can you want to shout out to where we met?
Yeah. So I kind of have an old podcast called B3F. Me and another buddy of mine, and we'd reached out to interview you for something. I don't remember why. I think just we were browsing something, came across like, he
so
seems
awesome.
like he'd be fun to talk to. I don't know why. And then we had you on. A magical friendship was sparked deep in our hearts, and we've gone back and forth a few times since then. And first time you've had one of us on your show, but it's probably a better choice of me than Joey because he sucks.
Hey, you guys are awesome. So shout out to the B3F podcast. You guys are awesome. It was
Thank you.
Very, very fun time. I remember the first time I got on and we were like, hey man, we drink, we sit, we chat, we talk, we drink. Man, I went a little too hard. Because it was like a 2-hour talk.
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
And I was just pouring drink after. And I was doing, I think, what was I doing? Like Jack and Coke or something like that. And I drink after I was drinking it like it was water. Yeah. And by the end of oh man, nobody actually go back and watch that because I was saying some things I really shouldn't have.
It was a great episode. I highly recommend. Highly recommend watching that. If your fans and your audience really want to get to know you, that is the place to go.
The mask slipped off for a little bit towards the end, towards the character faded. CQ kind of went away for a little bit, and a little bit of what was inside came up. Anyway. Big shout out to everybody that's watching already. Let us know you're watching in the chat. Say hi. Tell us where you're listening from. First time listener, whatever. We got Angry Elf in the chat. What's up, Angry Elf, man? The sports bar's here. Heath Barlow, the Brevard County Mugshots is in the house. What's up, guys? Always hanging out. Bradley, Wayne, Lanchester. God, a bunch of you guys just hanging out. Kayla? Man, and you're gonna see how bad I am at pronouncing names. Kaylia McFadden. God bless you. Appreciate you coming out. Mike Larson. Hey, what's going on, Mike Larson? And yes, by the way, I shaved for you. I don't know you, man. I don't know if you saw the last couple episodes, but I had the big old Santa beard going, and I wanted to clean. I wanted to look handsome for you. I wanted to clean up for you, and yeah, see what's up. Kaylee. All right, wow, that's how you. Well, good for you, Kaylee. Kaylee McFadden, thanks for coming up. Real quick, we do have a special guest tonight. A more special than Massey. Massey's gonna be here the majority of the night, but we have a special guest joining us. In fact, plural guests joining us tonight. We have Carlos and Rylee Alazraui. I'm gonna get it before they come on. Awesome. Carlos was, if you guys watched Reno 911, he played Deputy James Garcia. Really, really funny dude, comedian, voice actor extraordinary. I learned so much looking into this guy and his back catalog. Do you remember Rocco's Modern Life? Remember that cartoon?
Yeah.
He was Rocco.
No way.
He was the voice of Rocco. Fucking Spyro the Dragon. Remember that video game?
Yeah.
He was the voice of Spyro.
That's insane. I had no idea. I mean,
right?
Rocco was a dirty ass show for its day. But
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that because there's also a lot of ties from that show to what became SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob doesn't exist if not for Rocco, and there's some ties to that. So yeah, who doesn't remember Yo Quiero Taco Bell? Remember the fucking Chihuahua?
No.
That's him.
No.
He's the Chihuahua.
I don't believe you. I don't believe anything.
I'm telling you. That's what the more I dug into this guy, I was like, what the seriously? Incredible talent. And his daughter will be joining us as well. This is our first 2-for-1 combo interview. You get 2 for the price of 1. His daughter is now getting into the voice acting. She plays Rock in Star Trek Prodigy. Really? So she's an up-and-coming voice actress as well. So that's going to be a fun interview. We'll talk to them. Now,
awesome.
Real quick, this is your first time here.
Yes.
Let the people know. Give them we're all vets. So all vet station. Give. Don't laugh. Come on. Hold it together. Let the people laugh at you. Hold it together. Give the folks at home just a quick sense of your service, and then we'll continue on.
All right. I was a coastie for the better part of 9 years. You guys don't like coasties around there. I know how it is there. No, but yeah, I was a Twidget. I was electronics tech with those guys, and got medically discharged in 2013 after being locked in rate for a fucking year and a half. But you know how that goes. But yeah, so that was my game, mostly Alaska and a little Hawaii.
We thank you for your service. How little of it was. We thank you for your service.
If there wasn't a camera between us, I would fight your shit right now.
Scott Rosa says, a puddle pirate.
Yep.
God bless. Yeah, Angry Elf, same thing. Puddle pirate. Man, a couple of y'all, everybody all at the same time put in, puddle pirate. Everybody at the same time. That's awesome.
Joke, right? You have to be at least 6 feet tall to be in the Coast Guard. So if your boat sinks, you can walk back to shore.
That's the first time I've heard that. That's awesome. Oh man, that's awesome. All right, no. We laugh, we joke, but we do, obviously, everybody all have a part to play, and we appreciate your service and happy you're here to join us, man. Absolutely happy.
Thank you.
Some of the nicest guys I know were Coast Guards. I was gonna say lifeguards. I mean Coast Guards. So, okay, one more question about you. Obviously, this is a show kind of wrapped around pop culture and nerddom and geekdom. What do you nerd out over? What do you geek out over? Whatever it is, I mean, tech, books, music, TV, video games, whatever it is. What's your nerdy thing?
Muscle cars and women. No, I know nothing about either one of those things. No, I used to be a gamer, but that's as I got older, I just ran out of time and kids and all that stuff. So like, old school, probably PS2 prior, that was kind of the soft spot. A lot of Dan Harmon stuff as far as
Sure.
modern pop culture TV stuff goes. Community, Rick and Morty, all that good
Sure.
stuff. I'm
Sure.
a big audio geek, probably is the big thing. It's not as pop culture, but I love audio, video tech, all that
Hey,
good stuff.
that falls into the tech genre, which falls squarely into nerd geek territory. So
Yeah.
you are in good company. And just so you know, we got people saying, "Hey, man, we're all brothers and sisters in arms." And then the sports bar says, "I'm jealous of the Coast Guard when I remember they exist." So they, there you go. The sports
That's
bar coming
fantastic.
in with shots. Yeah,
Love it.
man.
Love it.
So okay. So as new, with me rotating co-hosts for a little while now and testing the waters, as it
I'm
were.
just one of you. I'm just one of your whores. That's
Yes,
fine.
you're
All right.
you're one of my stable. You're one of
Okay.
my best. You're in my
I'll take it.
stable.
I'll take it.
You're in the stable. So what I've been trying to do now is I send my co-host a list of topics that I could cover tonight, and I let the co-host choose topic by topic what we're going to talk about tonight. So, if you will, Mr. Massey, would you pick our first topic of the night?
I will as soon as I pull the list back up. I didn't know there's going to be a quiz. Let's. I had it earlier and I read over it. And I was like, I'll be fine. Okay, I got it. God
My
damn
bad
it.
for not preparing you better. That's on, that's the leadership's failure. Leadership's failure.
You amply prepared me. I just don't pay attention to anything. Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six.
Great one. This is actually breaking news as of pretty much today. So everybody knows Rainbow Six as Tom Clancy. It's a book series, became worldly popular in a video game series. A few of them being my favorite. I think it was like Double Agent, the Rainbow Six Double Agent, one of my all-time fucking favorite games of all. Like, it is so good. Well, breaking news: a Rainbow Six movie
What
is in the works with Michael B. Jordan set to star.
No.
Which I love Michael B. Jordan. I really do. I really love him. But that is such a Sam Fisher is such a character deeply rooted in. I'm torn. I'll be honest with you. I'm torn because while I believe there shouldn't be a necessary like, oh, this character has to be white and this character has to be black. I don't necessarily traditionally believe in that. I really don't.
Okay.
Like they were talking about making a black Superman movie. Okay, dude from Krypton could be black. I don't fucking, Spider-Man could be black. I mean, Batman is hard to be black because, traditionally came from a very wealthy family and old money. And so there's not a lot of old money black families, there's just a status thing. But I just, I'll be honest, like if they're going to do it, that's fine. Do it. Oh wait, no, you know what? Dude, I am mixing myself up. Oh my God. I'm thinking of Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell was Sam Fisher. Rainbow Six was just a mishmash of special elite soldiers that came together to like anti-terrorism squad in the U.S. Man, I'm bad.
Man,
shame on you, Mike.
Man, I'm offended by the rant you just went on.
You know what? I'm so bad. So anyway, here's the article. Author Tom Clancy is one of the most popular authors when it comes to adaptations. Not only have his books been adapted for screen through TV shows and films many times over the years via the Jack Ryan franchise, amongst other things, he's also secured a lucrative deal with Ubisoft, one of the greatest companies out there. Since then, Ubisoft has used the Tom Clancy branding to adapt Rainbow Six. They've done, what was it? A Splinter Cell we just talked about. Yep. They've what was the other one? Shit. The flying one. God damn it. I'm gonna draw a blank here, but it wasn't Ace Combat. That's a different franchise. But Tom Clancy did a fighter jet series, a bunch of really great video game series. So a new adaptation is in the works based on the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six IP, specifically the novel, will star Michael B. Jordan. However, this is also sort of a sequel / follow-up to another film that Jordan did In 2021, he released Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. So that was a made for Amazon movie he did.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a sequel follow up to that. So as of right, say that again.
Hawks. That was the game.
Hawks. Oh, man, look at you. Look at you. You're on the money.
I can Google like a son of a bitch.
I can Google like the best of them. So let's see. Michael B. Jordan is the only confirmed star and will reprise the role of CIA operative John Clark. There's the director of John Wick will be doing this. So it's coming out. I mean, you know, say what you will. John Wick. I mean, it's good action. I mean, it's some good action there. So if he's going to do it. So director Chad Stahelski, I don't know how to pronounce his name, which he's also doing a Ghost of Tsushima movie for those that know that game. So that's another project he's working on. So he's I guess he's getting real big into the video game to movie adaptations. As of right now, it remains to be seen when the movie will actually release. He's got a lot of projects on his plate. They both do. Obviously, Rainbow Six is very popular, and we've seen as of late the adaptations are doing well. The Witcher adaptation. We're definitely going to talk about The Last of Us. In fact, that's what we're going to talk about next because I've got to talk about that. But I don't know. What are your thoughts in seeing Michael B. Jordan continue, because not even him starting, continue his elite operative work into a Rainbow Six-esque style series, movie, franchise, whatever?
I think that with a combo of director, it could really work. It just depends on how they approach it, because I feel like Rainbow Six in and of itself, the games had plot lines, sure, but they really weren't plot lines. So to me, it'd be interesting how they would pull the adaptation from the games. And granted, I didn't play the later ones. Like I still remember was a '98, the first OG one. And playing that, of course, it's come a long way since then. So the plot lines might have improved, but it's I don't know. It could. I'd watch it, but I love you know any of those kind of movies. I don't care. But
Yeah.
I will say though, a minute ago when you said Ghost before you went the rest of it, I immediately locked on to the movie Ghost as a remake.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh, they could literally bring Patrick Swayze back for that, and it would be
There is news coming out of a Ghost remake. We can talk about that here in a second.
No, I didn't mean to.
There is news out of that, which I have very strong feelings about. Scott, great comment. He says, what do you think of a Tom Clancy type of universe similar to what they're doing with the MCU? So you could bring you can bring your Splinter Cell, like you can do them individually. Splinter Cell movie, Rainbow Six movie, Jack Ryan movie, Hawks movie, and then have some type of world-ending event. The world is on the cusp of nuclear disaster and World War III is about to break out, and all these series come together in some epic. It's like when those shows like NCIS and all them like have a crossover episode, do something like that. What do you think?
That'd be cool. They'd have to remove the garbage TV series out, kind of like Marvel did. The early shows, they're like, oh yeah, these didn't really happen, and now they have multiverse, so now they did happen, and we got to work all of this out. So they could do something like that, but I think a series of that would be really sweet, especially if you're into the Tom Clancy stuff. Like I grew up on Clear and Present Danger, and all the old the 12 of them that Harrison Ford starred in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be it's a really sweet idea. I feel like they should do that with a lot more franchises, actually, that they have different movies in here and there. Just, I mean, obviously the DC can't do it, but there could be some other brands might be way more successful in their endeavors.
Preaching to the choir, brother. Preaching to the choir. Excellent. First one out the bar. You're doing great, buddy. You're doing great. You're doing awesome. So guys, real quick, I just poll, guys, put it in the chats. Have you seen The Last of Us? It just came out. What was it? Sunday night. Last of Us on HBO Max. Put it in the chats. I want to know who has seen it, who hasn't. Massey, have you seen it yet?
I am very sad to say no. I actually canceled my HBO Max subscription a few months ago, and I didn't hear about this until probably last week.
Yeah,
and
so it was all over everywhere.
Yeah, and so
I got you. My brother, I got you. I got the password. I got you.
I'm sorry I let you down. I'm sorry.
There are some people that saying they haven't seen it, so I'm going to try to avoid spoilers. But I will say it is so fucking good. It is so good. that it really makes me angry. And it makes me angry because I enjoy it so much. And then I go, like, this is what we want. This is what we want. Something that is a faithful adaptation while taking creative liberties for the sake of storytelling, right?
Mhm.
That's what we want. As
Yeah.
people that I love this thing, and you're telling me you're going to take this thing and make it this thing. Okay, but this is the thing I love. Well, so try to keep the core of it. Walking Dead was a great example where they took a comic book and as well as they could, especially early on, later on, they just wildly branched
Right.
because I mean, there's certain then you have to worry about contracts and people aging out of roles and like there's so many things when long, but early on, the first 2 or 3 seasons, they really tried to
was
stay
great,
within
yeah.
the path and had to change certain things just for the sake of storytelling. This by far, and I think I've seen everything that's ever been created from a video game, a comic book, a cartoon, every adaptation of something, I think I've seen it. I can honestly say I think I've seen it.
Mm.
This, hands down, is the greatest adaptation of anything I've ever seen. It's that good. It's
Somewhere
that good.
Mila Jovovich is crying.
Oh, please. That as much as I did like the Resident Evil series as a movies, that was like 49% at best.
Yeah,
Really.
you want to know? I'm about to let you down even more than you
Okay.
thought possible. I have never even played Last of Us.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you dropped off after the PS2, I mean, that's not surprising.
Well, it's one of the games everybody was like, dude, you need to play it. You need to play it. You need to play it. And
It's
as
so
I
good.
do with anything, Joey, tell anything, I'm like, no, I'm not. You guys all want me to. Fuck that. I'm not doing it. And now in hindsight, I wish I would have played it because everybody talks about how magic it is. And the show looked fantastic when I looked it up after I heard about it. But
Yeah, it is. I mean, the game, and that comes to it, right? The source material. Because when you're like, well, like a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, that's tough to do because Sonic the game, there's not really a story there. It's just a thing doing a thing. Super Mario, like how are you gonna, over time they've built lore and things like that. But if you're talking an adaptation of the original content, like what the fuck, like how do you make the guy hitting bricks with his head and getting coins? So, but this game is so well written. Let's talk about the game for a second. It was so well written. It won, my God, a bajillion awards when it was released. The sequel, much hyped, much debated because they really fucked with fans and what they wanted and what they liked, and that's a whole other thing, a whole other conversation for all of the day. But still a great game, well written, and this show is really, 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 really well done. And at the core, it follows the crux of what we want to see and the dynamic between these characters and the situation they got to be in. Now, obviously, we're basing this all on one fucking episode. The rest of the season could be terrible. But as a singular episode, it is the best adaptation of anything I've ever seen.
I'm in. Sold.
It's that good. And there were small tweaks. So just without spoiling anything, because I really don't like to play spoiler, it is kind of a zombie-esque thing, right? Because but it's not a virus as in zombie worlds. It's a fungus that's based off very real science. You know the ants that get affected by the fungus and it messes their head and the spores and all that? That's what it's based on. Okay. What if that jumped to humans? That's pretty much in a nutshell what it is. And then, we're 20 years later and the world is fucking destroyed. The one tweak that they had to make, and it makes sense, is that in the game, obviously, these things would kill you and they could infect you and all that. But as they mutate and as they age out, they become basically, they give off spores. And so just breathing the spores can infect you. So a lot of the game, you're wearing a gas mask just to protect you from the spores.
Right.
So they obviously had to change that for the show because, like, if 80% of every episode it's like that's just not going to be fun to watch. So they took away the spore element of it. So nobody's going to get infected from breathing. It's obviously all has to do with like being scratched and bitten and all that. That's how it infects you. But yeah,
Nice.
but other than that, they have stayed as faithful, as true to any adaptation I've ever seen, and it's so fucking good, and it's so
Okay.
good. And here's where I have a dilemma.
Okay.
That's one side of the coin. Adaptation at its fucking highest. It's done by HBO Max.
Um,
I don't know who's seen the news out there. The other side of that coin is when you release a show. Have you heard of Velma? Have you heard of that show yet?
no.
Okay, Velma, as Velma of Scooby Doo.
So is it based on
It's
Scooby Doo?
it's a reimagining of the origin story, animated, of the origin story of Velma of Scooby Doo and how the gang meets and how that all starts.
She was
It-
also, just to throw out there, the hottest member of the mystery team,
mean-
in case anybody was
I mean,
wondering. Hands down. Hands down.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it arguably, yeah.
Fred.
But here's the thing about that show. It's as if you took all the pieces of Scooby Doo and then threw it in a blender with like South Park and American Dad, and like and it's just very over the top gory, like and not just gory in the sense of like, oh my God, I found a body and like, oh, it's been decapitated, right? That's gory. But then gory in a cartoon sense of where like at one point a dude gets his leg cut off and he's just kind of like chilling there as it's just spouting blood.
Ah,
And he's just like, because the character's talking and he's just like, oh yeah, man, good point. Like, so it's that kind of silly, ridiculous. Now, I'm not one to make a snap judgment on something, right? Like, I was like, all right, let's see where this goes, right? And they're doing something different. They're breaking them. They're trying to do something different. They're taking an established thing, but my God, people are pissed.
oh yeah.
Pissed. The internet is afire, a blaze of how much hatred they have pointed at this show. And like, you're ruining the Scooby-Doo franchise, and you're ruining this, and you're ruining that, and like these characters aren't like that, and blah blah. And it's like, yeah, they're this is the Rick and Morty version. The way Rick and Morty is a ridiculous version of like Back to the Future.
Mhm.
This is a ridiculous version of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And it is being bombed by critics. It has currently, I think it's like a 1.4 rating out of like 100. Like it is being so wildly bombed.
Have you seen it?
I have. I've watched the first 2 episodes. Only the first 2 episodes are out. And I said, like, I get what they're going for. Not my cup of tea, but I'm going to give it a chance because I like content. I like to see and who knows, maybe this is they're setting up and they're gonna flip the genre on its head, and they're trying to make this meta commentary. Like in the opening episode, they're like, if this was a horror movie, like is the girls in the shower, like in the school shower, like if this was a horror movie, you'd get killed because you're the slut, and well, no, like we'd be making out, and like it's very like on the nose meta commentary of like these cliches and whatnot. But anyway. Yeah, it's much. It's a little much, and it's made by Mindy Kaling, and through her, she does the voice of Velma, and through her like prism of comedy.
Yeah, that's strike one for me right there. That's
But here's the so I was gonna say, if there's one thing the internet can agree on right now, it's Velma. HBO Max kickstarted the animated comedy just days ago. The series is already burning through the goodwill of social media because social media has goodwill.
full of goodwill.
With mixed critic reviews, Velma has fallen prey to fans who have less than kind things to say about the edgy series, which it's managed to beat out one of Hollywood's most infamous, atrocious adaptations. Ask anyone who's as knowledgeable about this stuff as me, what is the worst adaptation of all time? It would have to be Dragon Ball Evolution.
Okay.
I mean, Dragon Ball Z, the series, you're very aware of it. They made a live action adaptation where it was as if somebody skimmed the Wikipedia page and then was like, I get the concept. And it was so bad. So very bad.
You would put that above like Masters of the Universe and
Oh my
like
God. Masters of the Universe is a cult classic
it is a cult classic, but yeah.
compared to
Comparatively.
it's so bad. It's so bad. It's unwatchable. I'm a diehard Dragon Ball Z fan. I've got statuettes and shit back there. I got Dragon Balls. I got a bunch of Dragon Balls back there. And it is so you can't watch it. It's that bad. You can't watch. Now, yeah, see, I got people Kaylee. That movie was garbage. Yes. You know what I mean? So, but that movie holds a steady 2.5 out of 10 on I forget what site it is, but that's a 2.5.
Yeah.
And right now, Velma's sitting at a 1.4. So almost a full star less out of 10. Now, I mean, ratings are, again, Dragon Ball had, 10,000 ratings and Velma doesn't have, maybe less than 1,000 currently. So it's hard to, where it falls out. And we haven't seen the full series of Velma. Maybe they turn it around and it becomes one of the, like, oh, it was all just a meta joke, those terrible first episodes. I don't know. But yeah, either way, man, I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know.
Really?
I
have a hard time. I feel like the meta thing has become more and more of a trend over the last few years, and it's getting overplayed to shit. And with a lot of stuff, I think, like with She-Hulk, I hated it so much. I liked She-Hulk. I liked it. I actually did, except for the meta shit made me want to stab myself in the fucking throat. Yeah. It was terrible. But so at least
that's from the source material, though. Like it's met like she is.
That doesn't mean I had to like it,
right? Of course. Absolutely. You could have they could have went a different way with it.
I got that for sure. I'm just saying it's becoming more. I blame Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool for it to really kicking the trend off hard, but in the best of ways. And I also realized I'd ask you if you'd seen Velma after you had just said that you'd already watched a couple episodes. So obviously I'm not even paying attention now.
So like I feel like there's very good ways of doing meta. There's very tongue-in-cheek ways of doing it. Think of like a Simon Pegg movie. Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and all these movies where it's kind of like a wink to the audience without being blatantly like, hey guys, I'm talking to you now and this is funny because it's out of the scene. Like it's a little over the top. When done correctly, when done well, I think it can be good. But
I agree.
I have a weird stance on like if you're gonna call out a trope, right? Like, oh, this is the scene where we would kiss. If you're gonna call that out, but then do it anyway, it's weird because it's like you're making a social commentary while going, well, I guess we got to do it. Like I don't know. So that's where I have
interesting.
Yeah, that's where I have a weird feeling about it because I'm like, okay, cool, they're calling it out. And then here's the girl in the shower scene, and with the dead body, and I'm like, all right, didn't we just say that like that's a played out cliche? And but I don't know. That's just I don't know.
It's just too highbrow, man. It's just too highbrow.
And Scott's right. There's a difference between meta and fourth wall breaking, right? Because meta is pointing out what we expect and what's there. Fourth wall breaking is straight up saying, I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you, not the people in the scene. But both is, I think, is also being kind of overplayed right now. We're seeing it in the silliest places too. Sitcoms. I don't know if you noticed this. Sitcoms have started doing that where they're like, look at the camera, kind of wink thing, and it's like, but that's not part of your show.
Yeah.
Like,
fuck you, Jim Halpert.
Yeah, like it's that's The Office that was built in. There was a documentary and he's playing to the camera. But when like I forget, I was flipping through channels, the George Lopez show, where it's like he brought his family from his old show onto his new show, and then they're like, "Where's the guy?" And like his character from the other show, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know. I heard he got fat." Wink, wink, and it's like, like that's what we're doing. Like, all right, I guess that's comedy. I guess
absolutely. All
right, we've beat that horse to death. Give us another topic. What can we talk about?
All right, actually, I'm going. That's the next one on the list, but it's one of the ones that I'm intrigued by why you have it on here, and that is Community. One of my all-time favorite shows.
Yes, Community. Well, I don't know how much you've been keeping up on Community, but it was announced back in September that the long-awaited Community movie would finally be happening.
6
and
seasons
obviously,
in a movie, bitches.
6 seasons in a movie. Everybody's here. The real fans know. Obviously, the show began in 2009, ran for 6 seasons, aka 6 seasons and a movie, became a long-running joke among fans. And after years of wondering if the movie would happen, Peacock has decided to greenlight the project, which will see the return of Joel McHale, Danny Pudi, Alison Brie, Jillian Jacobs, Jim Rash, Ken Jeong, while Yvette Nicole Brown and Donald Glover haven't been officially announced for the movie.
They'll be there.
They're expected to return. I mean,
they'll be there.
I mean, everybody else is there. Like Donald Glover, I get it. He's kind of becoming a big thing. Like he's really gained some traction since that show first aired. But they gotta. Yeah. I mean, come on.
No, my Lord and Savior Dan Harmon wouldn't let it happen otherwise.
I mean, Chevy Chase won't be there.
No,
I can bet you that.
I know, right? I was hoping they would be so, but no, that won't happen for sure. But I think they said recently they're going to start filming in June. I think was the latest on that. That's the one thing I was reading all this. I was like, oh shit, I know a little bit about this.
There you go.
But
yes.
yeah, I'm so excited.
So the latest was that McHale appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and he revealed when the movie would be beginning filming, and he said, we're making the Community movie in June. So yes, the Community movie, which so many of us fans have been excited for, is officially happening, and it is going to be in June.
I'm so excited.
And he said the only person I will confirm is Ken Jeong. Like that's it. That's the only person he would confirm. And I'm like, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, they have a beautiful, beautiful friendship as well. I love their back and forth. But
they're so good.
you can't see it, but I'm actually I'm flicking it under the table here, talking about Community right now. It's so good.
I'm at 3/4, baby. I'm almost there. As Keith said, bring Chevy back and let's see him fist fight with Joel. All right. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Just roll camera and call it an episode or call it a show. I know
I wouldn't put it past Harmon for something just that's the movie. It's an hour of racial slurs and fist fights.
Yep.
That's it.
It's just all behind the scenes footage of them trying to bring it back and everybody arguing with each other. I know I think it was Dan Harmon or somebody was talking about writing it. They got interviewed and they said, hey, would paintball play a part in the movie? Because obviously paintball was such a huge part of the series and different episodes. And they said no, just flat out no. They said, we did it we did it enough times. We covered that. And there's other stories to tell that don't require that. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. I'm curious. I know it reignited the passion for them reignited when during the pandemic. Did you see the sit down
table read? Oh my God, it was so good.
Oh, it was so
I will
good.
say that I just completely blanked for his name. Oh my God. He was standing in for Goggins.
For Chevy Chase. Yeah.
No, the guy standing for Goggins, the Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. Yeah.
But he couldn't hold it together. Like when he was handing out the sperm, it was fantastic. I laughed my ass off with that. But yeah.
Oh man,
so
what a good get too. What a good get for like such a silly little thing. Like, hey, we're gonna do a table read. Let's bring in Pedro Pascal. What a great get. I side note, I really love Pedro Pascal. Like he is one of the hottest stars right now, right? The Mandalorian and this, and he just did the movie with Nick Cage, and I mean, he was in Wonder Woman 84, that abomination of a movie. But one of the hottest stars in Hollywood and just such a normal dude. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you've watched interviews with him. He's such just a dude. Like, I could see him co-hosting this show. Like, he's just a dude. Really, he really is. They were doing an interview and they were like, oh, what do you think that the internet's considering you a zaddy now? And he's just like, what? I don't know what that is. Like, he's like, I don't. They had to explain to him what it was, and then he's like, oh, so it like I'm a daddy, but like I'm a next level daddy. He's like, am I that old? Like, he was so confused. And then they were asking him about like the video game and of The Last of Us, and he's like, man, I tried playing it, I just couldn't. So I had like He said, like, I had a friend play it and I just watched. and they're like, there's an easy mode. He goes, yes, I was on the easy mode. He's just like so inept. But yeah, Pete says I should try to get him on the show. Yeah, sure. I'm sure Pedro Pascal is going to clear up his schedule and make a pop over for an appearance at Pop Culture Warrior. This guy's doing Good Morning America. He's like, let me see. What's your schedule today? Well, I got Good Morning America. I've got ET Entertainment tonight. And then, Pop Culture Warrior. I'm going to just throw, a couple minutes there. And
dude, I would rather be on this show than Good Morning America.
Wow.
I'm just saying. Can I call you Zaddy?
Yes, I prefer it. My pronoun is Zaddy. Greg says, shoot your shot. All right. Hey, you know what? Challenge accepted. I know who reps Pedro Pascal. I will reach out to them, and I will then bring the rejection letter here next week to let you know how they not so nicely told me, are you fucking retarded? Like, are you crazy? He would not come on your show if you paid him. So anyway.
Well, he wasn't going to, and then he saw the episode that had Massey on there with him, and he was like, fuck yeah, I'll do that show.
Yeah. It was like if Massey's gonna do it, I guess I can do it. I don't know.
Anybody can. Jesus.
CQ, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That is true. You also miss 100% of the shots you take at Pedro Pascal. That is another fact, but I'll take my shot. I've been y'all don't know how many times I've been told no. You think Massey was my first attempt at a guest co-host? You have no idea how many no's I got before I had to get to this guy. All right, the desperation. I was scraping the bottom of the barrel. Okay.
Yeah. I know. Back in the day, I went through at least 3 Army wives before I got a yes. It was crazy.
That's how. Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Actually, it's the Navy wives are way worse than the.
Oh God!
I'm
God!
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not.
All right. What else? What else we got? We did Community. What's next?
Let's go. Let's go Married with Children.
Married with Children. Good one. Good pull. All right, let me pull this. So yeah, for those listening to it, has anybody ever, like, who out there remembers Married with Children? I honestly wonder sometimes the age of my viewers, and like, do they even know what the hell I'm talking about? How crazy am I? Yeah, Angry Elf. How many times have I told you no? Yeah, that's true. All right. So I have some news about Married with Children, right? Because we are in the era of what? We are in the era of reboots, remakes, sequels, spin-offs, right? We're the era of, if it worked before, why not? Because original content is so hard. So let me read you this. Married with Children may be the latest TV series to return after decades in cancellation. But wait. But with this proposed revival comes a slight tweak to the format. You ready for this?
No.
The original cast is all set for a return, including Ed O'Neill, Katie Sagal, Christina Applegate, David Fasciano, but they won't be returning in live action. Instead, it will be in animated form. So an animated Married with Children reboot sequel, I guess.
I tell you though, I know why they're doing animated though. There's no way in hell they could get away with the same content if it was live action, unless they were on a paywall network.
True. Very true. There's also the fact, speaking candidly, that they're old as dirt, the majority of them. And unfortunately, and this is just true to life, life sucks sometimes, Christina Applegate has had some very serious life complications. Yep. And I believe she was diagnosed with, was it multiple sclerosis? I don't know if it was MS or it was something, but like she was just finishing another series like they had to literally prop her up on walls to finish the series because she's having difficulty standing and talking and things like that. So there's also the difficulty of, you know, how do you film a show when the actors can't really perform. So
Yeah, it was MS. That's correct.
MS. That's what it was. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. And I mean, she was such a wonderful woman and has done so much, incredibly talented, and was so saddening and shocking because she really is like, you know, you read story. I read. I mean, you don't do it, but I read tons of stories about, you know, what are celebrities like in their personal lives and the things they do. And she was very well talented, very well loved in the industry. But hey, you know, disease doesn't pick favorites. Medical conditions don't, you know, you can have all the money in the world. Steve Jobs, all the money in the world, you can't outrun when your body says it's time, it's time. So it's very sad. But
well, now I feel like a dick. Thank you so much.
way to bring it down, CQ. But so you go.
Like, no, it's not because of content. It's because someone is dying.
Yes, it's because she can't live anymore. The series idea is currently being pitched around to different TV networks and streaming platforms, with Deadline reporting that the potential revival is getting strong interest. According to the outlet, Fox, Hulu, or Peacock, man, Peacock's picking up everything. Fox, Hulu, or Peacock are the highest on the list of destinations with, and somebody mentioned this, so it's basically another Family Guy, with Family Guy executive producer Alex Carter serving as showrunner, right? Who better than to bring a dysfunctional family to animation than freaking executive producer of Family Guy? So, and Jorge, I don't know which whatever you prefer, please, not Hulu. That's what he says. Okay. And
it'll just be on Disney Plus. It's fine.
I don't think it'll be on Disney Plus. Kaylee says she was a 90s girl crush for me. I mean, I think a lot of people in the 90s had a crush. That was like Kelly Kapowski out of freaking Saved by the Bell, or
Tiffany Amber.
Yeah, Tiffany Amber. Yeah, or what was Pink Ranger? Amy Jo Johnson, the Pink Ranger in Power Rangers. Like Topanga. Come on, Boy Meets World. Topanga. Those are just.
Yeah.
I remember there was like a list of like, it was like teen 90s heartthrobs or whatever, and I just remember going like, yep. Somehow Lola Bunny from Space Jam, like, yep. just going through it, yeah.
I always like to imagine that Showgirls was like what happened to Jesse after Saved by the Bell, and that's how I tied that in.
Yes,
it was fantastic.
Yeah, that is a real fall from grace. Poor Jesse. What a fall from grace.
It was better than the college years, man.
That's the truth. Jesus Christ, that's the truth. Okay, so we have that, and we got a couple more minutes before our guest joins, and obviously Massey here we'll lose him once the guest joins, but he'll be back more after. So real quick, I do have to point out, our guest is awesome tonight, incredible tonight, fantastic. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, these are obviously busy people. We're not going to get him for the full hour. I just want to put it out there quickly. At best, we're going to get 15 to 20 minutes, which, you know, I had even told him, messaging him back and forth, and like, you know, we can reschedule, and we can pre-record it, and they wanted to be here tonight. They wanted to do it tonight. They wanted to do it live. But it's going to be a shorter interview, which, yay for us. That means we get more Massey. If you didn't get enough, we're going to get more of him afterwards, instead of having a full hour of the interview. My goal is to have a great interview here. They will be appearing at a convention that I'll be going to in a couple weeks nearby in Baltimore. We'll talk about that. Get to see them again in person, and then hopefully at another late date and time, we'll give them the full CQ experience, the full Pop Culture Warrior experience, the full hour-long in-depth interview. So we'll get to that. But
I will say I'm excited to watch the interview. It will mark the longest amount of time I've ever watched one of your shows. So it'll be fun.
Fair. Yeah, I think. Turnabout's fair play. I think the longest I've watched one of your shows is when I was on. So it's,
Yeah, that's absolutely
it's,
fair. Yeah.
it's only fair. It's a two-way street. It's only fair. And Angry Elf says, it's a school night. That's right. So Riley is a wonderful talent, and but I'm sure she has school in the morning. All right, give me. I think we can knock out one or two more
Okay.
topics. What do you got?
Okay, let's go games of 2022.
Ooh, good topic. Games of 2022. Let me scroll my notes here. All
Now,
right.
I will say, while you're
Yes.
scrolling the notes real
Yep.
quick, I don't mean to keep jumping in. I talk about not being much of a gamer. There have been a few things that I've played over the over the years. I have a Switch. I have a couple kids, so
Sure.
I still game some. It's just I don't consider myself a gamer anymore, so to speak.
In case you're wondering what I'm doing, I have you in a bubble here, and people are
Mhm.
saying they like it when I stroke your bubble. So
Oh, that's
that's
awesome.
just me.
I had a bubble. I would just put my hand here to touch your hand in the split screen here. So that's all.
Yeah, they're saying it's so hot. All right. Anyway,
So
so we have the list of the best-selling games of 2022. They've been revealed. Fan favorite titles made the list. 2022 was an interesting year for gaming, although there weren't a ton of games, for some people. Like it wasn't. I don't think there's a lot of surprise in this list. The NPD has revealed the top 10 best-selling games of the entire year of 2022, despite analysts predicting. I'm curious, guys. Put in the chats, what games you were playing this year, specifically new releases, if you were playing any. As we go through this. Kaz is saying, "Hey, Massey, turn your head and cough." There you go. Perfect. Oh man. Oh God, we're gonna clip that. So number one, and it should be pretty obvious that the best-selling game of 2022 was.
Parappa the Rapper.
I should have a freaking. Did you say Parappa the Rapper?
I
God,
did.
I haven't thought of that game in about 30 years. God
It's
damn.
fucking fantastic. All right,
My
sorry.
God,
Go ahead.
deep pull. I like it. Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. Pretty obvious. One of the highest selling games of all time. Big game. I'm sure if they were counting games, I'm sure Grand Theft Auto 5 probably sold as many copies, but it wasn't released in 2022, which is what this list is about, games that were released in 2022. So, Greg, man, you're pretty close. You're pretty damn close. In no particular order. You're almost spot on. Greg said God of War, Call of Duty, Elden Ring. Very, very close. Very, very close. So your top selling games are Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. Number 2, which is a little bit surprising for me, Elden Ring. Have you heard of Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Big popular. I haven't played it. I mean, it's my God, you can't go on fucking Twitch or TikTok or any of these without watching, some guys like speed running and going through the whole thing without getting hit by a boss battle, blah, 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 all these things. So it's obviously a very popular franchise.
I hear the kids talking.
The kids, they got the finger on the pulse.
Their finger on something.
Mike said Arkham Knights, Minecraft, and Rocket League. That might be what you're playing, but it ain't what was the top selling. That's for sure. Greg says Elden Ring is a rage quit fest. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All those Elden Ring and Dark Souls and all those games. I can't invest my heart and soul into a game that will just what's the PC way of saying bend over and take me repeatedly. It will just not. Yeah, okay. That's it. So Call of Duty, Elden Ring. The third, which I wasn't surprised, is a game I bought in 2023, NFL Madden NFL 23. I mean, it's going to be up there every year. Everybody buys it. I do feel like this was a year in which they made great strides in the game. Obviously it's always like, oh, it's just a reskin and updated, people and updated graphics, like an iPhone coming out every year. But I do feel like they made some pretty good strides. Unfortunately, when you making new stuff, a lot of it's broken. So it was just a lot of It bugs and things, and you would think in a game series that's been coming out every year for like 60 years that it wouldn't be, but I feel like they're trying. I feel like they're at least trying. Years before, I feel like it's like they didn't even listen. They would just be like, fuck it, just update who's on what team and release it. At least I feel this year they tried to make some really good stuff, and some of it works. And when it works, phenomenal. When it works.
See, I'm an arcade player at heart, and so the more they've gotten into customization and all this like the super in-depth stuff that hardcore like sports fans love, they lost me. I hate
the franchise mode
shit.
and the like you can get so deep. They're like, how much do you want to charge for hot dogs in the stadium? And I'm like, I don't think this is necessary.
I'm old, like
to play
NFL
football.
Blitz, like the old early days of Madden. You pick your team, you have your same 7 plays, you try to guess what the other players picking out of their 7 plays, and you go to town.
Yep, exactly.
Whoever has Bo Jackson fucking wins.
In the story. Heath Barlow says, just give me a new Fight Night or Ace Combat. I can get on board with that, man. Fight Night was that was a good one. That was good. There hasn't been a good boxing game in a while. But Fight Night was one of those, man, where you just came in and just bow, and you see the sweat knock off the dude's head. Oh, that was great. And Ace Combat's a classic. Everybody loves good fight simulator, fighter jet simulator. So Call of Duty, Elden Ring, Madden, God of War, Ragnarok, obviously a huge seller. Surprising that it breaks the top 5, best-selling games when it's a PlayStation exclusive. That's a hard thing to do, to sell so many copies of something that even though it's only on one specific system, to crack the top 10, most best-selling games of all time. Like, that's great. That's really impressive. That's a testament to the fan base and to the game itself. So good for them.
This is all time or 2022?
I'm sorry, 2022. I apologize.
Okay.
Of the year.
I was about to be double shocked.
No, of the year for sure. And at number 5 was a bit of a shock for me as a gamer, as a guy who plays a lot of games. I did play this game this year. Was shocked that it made the best-selling games list though, and that is Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. A Lego Star Wars game, top 5 bestseller of 2022. I thought was pretty surprising when you have, the MLB games, the NBA games, the NHL games, the FIFA in a year where the World Cup was happening. I figured a FIFA game would be up there, which was up there, but just a little bit lower. So yeah, these were games that I expected there to be a much higher thing. So after that goes Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, FIFA 23, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Forbidden Horizon Forbidden West, and MLB The Show 22, obviously a baseball game. So really rounding out the games there. So nice. I'm out of breath.
Yeah, you know what? The last game I fully played through was Breath of the Wild. Was the last game that I sat and played through. But I usually have one that'll come out prior to that. I think it was Fallout. Was it Fallout 70? Not 76. Was 76? Whatever the newest, the last
Fallout was 76.
I usually have one game every couple of years.
Did not hit.
No, so the new Breath of the Wild, or the new Zelda that comes out this year, I'll probably be jerking off to that for a good couple months, and that'll probably be all the gaming I do this year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to take a short break. Massey, thank you for being here. We're going to take a short break. We're going to toss it to commercial. And when we come back, we've got our special guest joining us. Guys, thanks for being here. Stick around. We'll be back with more right after this. Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, alright? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, would you think because the show is going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
After all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And if I told you everything, I bet you cry and run away. 'Cause with all the lies I keep, made you believe this was me. The truth is I am not at all who I preach myself to be. And I deserve to be alone. And I'm alone here with me. And after all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And if I told you everything, I wonder if you would believe that with all the ways you've tried, I couldn't change my selfish needs. And with endless love from you, I took for granted everything. And I deserve to be alone here with me. After all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And I believe I could close my eyes and make it go away in dreams. And honestly, I could die to take it all away from me. After all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And after all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've done, do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now?
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. I am super excited tonight. We're going to keep this quick because these guys have a busy schedule and we don't want to hold them up too long. We are so incredibly lucky to be joined by two amazing guests tonight. First, you may know him as Deputy James Garcia on Reno 911, but he's also an incredible stand-up comic as well as a prolific voice actor, having voiced a crazy number of iconic characters from Rocco on Rocco's Modern Life, Spyro the Dragon, and who could ever forget the Taco Bell Chihuahua? Oh, goodness gracious. Also joining us is his amazingly talented daughter. She is quickly gaining attention as a voice actor in her own right. She's appeared in a number of shows, most notably playing Rock Talk in Star Trek Prodigy. Guys, let's not waste any more time. Please welcome my guests for tonight, Carlos and Rylee Alazraui.
Yes.
Welcome.
That was really good. It's tough. Talk about being intimidating.
You guys are great. I appreciate you so much. First off, I'm gonna fix your camera here because I jacked that up. But we're live, so that doesn't matter. They can hear you. Well, let's talk real quick. Obviously, you're here to promote your appearance in Farpoint, which is the Baltimore convention. I think it's February 10th through 12th. What's it like getting to get out there and meet with the fans?
Well, it's Riley's first time, and it should be a little asterisk. We are arriving the evening of Friday, so we won't be on the floor the first day. That's sort of an opening ceremonies day, but we will be there all day and all day Saturday. She's never done it. I think she's going to be excited. She went to New York Comic Con, right? Mm-hmm. But you were part of a panel there with Star Trek Prodigy, and there was a big ballroom, and I don't even think they did a meet and greet afterwards. So this will be sort of her first experience. I've always loved it. As a former stand-up comedian on the road, now I occasionally still do gigs, you were lonely. You were by yourself most of the day. And then you would go to the club for 4 hours, do a couple of shows, meet some fans, and go home. This is the inversion of that. You are around people all day that think you're great and think you're cool. And it's pretty wonderful. And they're fantastic. As you know, a lot of our population have autism or some of those sorts of
condition
qualities to them. Yeah. They come and they love you, and fans love you, and it's all ages. And I'm excited for her, Riley, to come and actually see her fan base face to face. And I think she's a little nervous about it, but it's going to be awesome.
Awesome. And Riley, for you, I mean, like you said, you've been to New York Comic Con. Obviously, this is different. I'm a frequenter of New York Comic Con. That is a massive, second behind only like San Diego Comic Con. So this is a much smaller, intimate experience. What are you most excited about as far as engaging with your fans?
That's mostly it because at the New York Comic Con, I was with most of my cast, and all we really did was we went on stage. It was like my first time like meeting like half of them too. So we went on stage, we did that, and then we didn't really get to meet anyone. We just saw people in the crowd. So I definitely think I'm more excited to meet people, and I also am excited to see the other stands that they have running and see if like I know a show, and then I get to go experience that too. So I'm excited to be a fan too there as well.
Very exciting.
We get to meet one of the people that's going to be there is Billy West, and he's my icon. He's my idol, one of my voiceover idols, and the nicest guy in the world. I'm excited for Riley to meet Billy. She already works with obviously Kate Mulgrew, Brett Gray. What was Purnell's first name? Ella Purnell. But working with Dee Bradley Baker, who plays Murph on her show. So it is fun. I love that part of the cons is meeting the fans and saying hello. And then like for me, it's like I'm a huge Blade Runner fan, so I'm talking to Sean Young. Sean Astin's the nicest guy in the world. My neighbor Kari Payton from The Walking Dead. I ran into him in Calgary. And David Harbour one night. It's like it's fun. We get to meet our sort of showbiz heroes as well, and that's really I'm excited for her to be at her booth, but also behind the scenes. So.
Sure. Yeah, you get both experiences of it. I was at Shore Leave a couple months back, and I met Bonnie Gordon, who plays the ship's computer, and she was wonderful. And she's going to be coming on the show a little later, so I'll pass along a hey for you if you'd like.
Yeah, Bonnie's great. We saw her at one of the little premiere rap parties we did at the theater, and they took the kids. Now the kids, it was family area, but it was a bar. But we sat out on the outdoor patios, and we got to meet everybody there that was there that night. And she's a lot of fun. She's a hoot, super talented.
Awesome. That's awesome. And I'll remind the audience, if you guys, I mean, obviously we don't have them for a long time, but if you do have questions, go ahead and put them in the chats and we'll try to get to them. So Carlos, I mean, obviously everybody knows you from Reno 911. I talked to our audience a little earlier and I was like, you wouldn't believe the amount of things he's done, from Rocco's Modern Life, Spyro the Dragon. Like, we're going through your list of just so many accomplishments, working on hundreds at this point of just acclaimed series, and you are a prolific voice actor. I've watched you put up great content, by the way, on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I highly recommend people check it out because so entertaining watching you do these voices. I just also wanted to mention, because I think it gets a little overlooked, unfortunately so, that you're an incredible stand-up comic, and that's where you really cut your teeth. Even winning the San Francisco Comedy Festival, which not just winning it, but beating Mark Maron and Patton Oswalt to win it.
Patton Oswalt. And then years later, I was on Mark Marin's WTF podcast at his house up there in Silver Lake. And he's like, Carlos, what's the deal, man? How did you win that night? It was still bugged him. I'm like, Mark, I think your career's going okay. You interviewed President Obama. I think you're doing okay, man. But it's weird how it stuck with him. Patton, I don't think it was ever big of a deal. And I always said to Patton and Mark that you guys I thought were the better true comedians. I was just a really great performer. But yeah, I'll always have that notch in my belt, right? I was like, I beat those guys in 1993. Hopefully I'm not at a bar when I'm 10 years from now, like, hey, I beat Patton Oswalt and Mark Maron. Where's my free drinks? No, but it was great. I don't think Riley's ever really seen that side of my life, really. That Tom Kenny and myself were born out of stand-up. Tom via Syracuse, via a group that he was with, Bobcat, and with Dan Spencer and Paul Kozlowski, called Uncle Stinky's Dipsy Doodle Review. And then they were each individual comics. And we were in San Francisco, and that's where I met Tom Kenny. And that's where I cut my chops as a comedian. And in 1991, there was a little audition for a show called Rocco's Modern Life, a little project. And I went in with no agent. I had made a voice tape and met Joe Murray and Nick Jennings and George Maestri and did Spunky and tried different voices. They didn't want Australian. And this, I kind of picked up a vacuum manual and started reading like this, and they liked it. And then we did a pilot, and then about a year or two later, we went to series. And both Tom and I were really green. Tom Kenny and I were stand-up comics. And we met the first day of recording a guy named Charlie Adler. You can look Charlie up, amazing, who was like, oh, Ben, Rocco, dear. And it was people like Charlie and Tress McNeil and all those people that gave you permission to go, oh, I can pull what I do off stage and do it behind the mic. We really grew. And now Riley is getting to work with some super top actors. I don't even work with her in the booth. It's my wife. So she, I think she saw my wife and I kind of doing characters, and we exposed you to what? Newsies when you grew up? Mm-hmm. Annie. You loved Annie. And now I think we just sort of passed it on organically. It's like we never really said, you're going to be a voice actor. It's just that she was kind of good at it because of what we exposed her to. So
yeah. I was going to actually, you brought up a great point, Riley. I don't know if you know this, but your dad mentions you in his comedy quite a few times. I was curious if you've ever gone back and watched some of those clips, because, you know, I remember one clip very vividly about him having to kick you out the way so he can get out to his comedy show, and, you know, show that's more important.
Stranger Love.
I mostly remember the time where we were at the mall for like a father-daughter date, and he like forgot to pay a parking ticket or something. And I was really little at the time, so like I didn't know how to unbuckle. I was still in like a really tiny car seat, and the car started rolling, and I was screaming, and I didn't know what to do because my dad was like really far back. And then the guy jumped in the car and saved me, and then his wife started yelling at him.
Yeah, no, it might have been his wife. And then you said on the way home, Riley says, can that guy be my daddy? And I said, yeah, mom finds out. That's a good possibility. That's a true story. So she definitely remembers that bit because it happened to her, but she doesn't remember the fall off the bed when she was 5 months old and smacked her head on the ground.
That's a great bit. I mean, yeah, most people wouldn't. So with Rocco, I gotta ask, because really to let people know, just because, you know, obviously we've talked about Tom Kenny and SpongeBob SquarePants is, I mean, at this point is iconic. It's massive. It's like The Simpsons, right? It's mega. But really, without Rocco's Modern Life, I really believe there is no SpongeBob SquarePants, right? Because obviously, you know, Tom came from that, and I know a lot of the staffers came from that and worked on that show afterwards. I mean, so there's definitely a kind of, in my view anyway, kind of a father-son dynamic where that spawned the other. I mean,
I know Sippy's a duo, right? Without Chris Falusi, you could argue that Rocco's not born with that sort of duo, that team together, where one is more astute and one is less astute. Obviously, SpongeBob and Patrick, Rocco and Heifer, Steve Hillenberg, Derek Dryman, Mark O'Hare, Swampy Marsh, Dan Povenmire now, you know, Hamster and Gretel, Phineas and Ferb. All of those guys, Hillenberg especially, they were born out of Rocco. They were the young directors and the writers and the storyboard people. Doug Lawrence, Mr. Lawrence, a.k.a. Filbert, Plankton, also born out of that group. So there was this rich pool of people that was born out of Rocco's Modern Life that, yeah, without that show, you might argue that it might have taken more time, or maybe they wouldn't have gotten the creative development they would have to think of those ideas. But Steve was always a fan of the ocean and written more than a few episodes for Rocco. But yeah, that is just a great group of people, and our first experience, I didn't know what I was doing. I was so green, but
To be Rocco, he's still revered,
and to meet new audiences now, right? People my age, obviously, and older. And now actually to work with Tom Kenny on Camp Coral, where Tom is my director. And here's this guy I met in 1987, and now Tom is directing me in this Camp Coral. And it's just bizarre. And now to kind of pass it on to her and go to her records. And it was fun for me. Here, our experience at the New York Comic-Con was we had waited an hour to be able to do the Star Trek Prodigy experience, where you get to sit in the captain's chair and then play some interactive games. And we're just about to get to where we waited an hour, and they say, "Oh, the actual cast is coming, so you're going to have to step back." I'm like, wait a minute. And so we got to hijack her cast and do that. And it's kind of fun to come full circle and be a civilian and watch that experience. And here's what Rylee has not experienced this yet, where people are going to go, "Oh my gosh, I love Rock Talk. You don't know how much it means to me."
Right.
And I never really understood it because I did Spyro the Dragon, right? And you changed my life or whatever. Or like you say, the military, thank you for your service. Really appreciate what Reno does. But I didn't get why people got so excited about voices. And one day I'm standing in Salami Studios here in Los Angeles, North Hollywood, with D. Bradley Baker and Fred Tatasciore. And I say, I stink at video games. The only one I know how to play is Left 4 Dead. And D goes, "I'm the Joker and I'm the Spitter." And Fred goes, "I'm Boomer." And I'm like, oh, no way. I totally fanboyed out because I had spent hours playing that game. And I know those characters. And then that's when it clicked. That's why people love it so much. They feel that you really know these characters. And to meet the faces behind them, it's kind of incredible. So I can't wait till she sees the looks on people's faces, young, middle, old, that say, "I love Star Trek Prodigy. These are my favorite characters. Rock Talk is my favorite character." It's pretty satisfying what we do. She's going to get to experience it for the first time. So.
Yeah. That's so true. I do want to ask one more question on just on Rocco, because again, so impactful. In 2019, a couple years ago, Netflix releases Rocco's Modern Life, Static Cling. I mean, for those that don't know, this is the cast returning to these characters 20 plus years later. What did that mean to you to kind of go back to that character to tell the 20 plus year later story?
It was amazing. I remember being at a diner with a buddy of mine, social media guy, and we see Martin Olson and Kaz and Joe Murray just walking to the diner together. I'm like, that's kind of strange. What's going on here? Okay, keep this on the DL. And that was 2015. And by 2016, we were recording in November, and it was bringing the band back together. It was like the Who's, like, "Can you guys still play? Are you sober?" That wasn't a problem. But we're like, yeah, we're going to do this again. It was amazing. And we have a lot of BTS footage that I put on my Instagram. But to be with Charlie and Tom and Linda Wallum again, and Jill Talley and Mr. Lawrence, and find those voices and go, like,
Really, Rocco? Was that high? Because it's way down here now. All right. Hey, Mr. Big Head.
And even Rapper, Tom's like, "I don't know if I can get that high anymore." So we were really all finding the voices, like, I can still play this tune that we played 25 years ago. 30th anniversary is coming up this September 18th, actually, of Rocco's Modern Life. But it was magical to put the voices back on again and go to Comic-Con and have people so excited about it. And really, she's seen Static Cling. She's seen one episode of the original, actually, one of the first episodes, the Suckomatic, I think. But it really harkened back to the true first couple seasons of Rocco, and they really captured it. So that part was wonderful.
Yeah, it released to rave reviews. Everybody loved it. Rylee, let me ask you. Obviously, you're very young in your career, right? You're just starting out. You've already got some great work under your belt. As you look forward to your career, what are you like? What's your acting wish? Right? Is there a star you want to work with? Is there a director you want to work with? Is there a franchise you want to get into? What are you looking forward to?
So for my voice acting career, I think as I grow up, I will continue to do it. But I also do on camera acting and stuff like that. And I think in like acting itself in general, I want to more focus on that as I grow up. And I I've booked a few things there, but my goal is to get like that one thing that just like changes my life. It could be like a movie or TV show. And for voice acting too, I guess it's like that's the same. Like Star Trek is definitely helping me grow as well. So I definitely just want to get that one thing that can really boost me up.
Now, before you wanted like, oh, if I could work with Millie Bobby Brown, but now you saw Wednesday and you would love probably
Jenna
work.
Ortega.
That would be nice.
And because she'll ask me, I work with Jenny Ortega on Elena Vavlor.
It's Jenna.
Jenna Ortega, sorry. So that's how I'm an old guy. Hey, I work with that Jenny. And Dad's like, do you know her? Do you have her number? And I'm like, no, we never showed up in the booth before. She gets excited because I'm cool by proxy. Like Brian Stepanek, who's the father in the Loud House, was Ricky, Nikki, Dickie, and Don. He's the dad on that. Our friend who did School of Rock, the series, I worked with him through the Groundlings and through Reno. I've worked with all these I worked with Tara Strong, Scott Menville, Kari Payton, all Teen Titans Go when she was huge into Teen Titans. So I always get dad cool points. But yeah, I think she's had opportunities, but realized that she's wanted to go to school and be with her friends, right? Instead of.
I've had the opportunities before. I remember there was a Nickelodeon show where I was really advancing. I was like getting a lot of callbacks and stuff. And I really thought about it. And I was like, do I really want to spend, it could be like, who knows how many seasons? I don't know if I want to not be around, like not live my life at this age and kind of be stuck in. I mean, it's great. They treat it very nicely, but I didn't know if I wanted to do homeschool for all those years and be in that type of life when all the real world is waiting right here for me. So it was kind of like I was kind of just thinking about which one to do, and I realized that I think at this age it's better for me to kind of like go to school, middle school. I mean, I have to experience that. So as I'm older, I feel like I would be more okay with that. But at the age I am right now, I think I'd probably want to stick at school with my friends.
Yeah.
Very mature answer.
That. And one thing that kind of ties all the three of us together, she did a Villains of Valley View, which is on Disney Plus. For me, I got to meet Lucy Davis, huge fan from the original British Office, and she played Savannah, this girl that really is sort of fighting with the supervillains because the villains want to ruin Christmas, and she's like, "Well, you can't ruin Christmas because my dad is coming home from the military, or we light up the Christmas tree, and I send him videos. He's away, he's serving overseas, but." In the end, I end up playing 3 lines. It's really all Riley's role. And they said, do you want to just come in and play 2 lines as a soldier? And I'm like, absolutely. And so it kind of tied it all together. We got to play a very fun episode. She got to be on set working with really great pros. And it does light that fire, but it's different she realizes it's different to be a series regular where you are missing that part of your life because you're going to set school and you're on set every day. So it's nice that she can guest star or audition for movies and keep doing voice work because she can still have the regular life. And conventions are on the weekend. So if we do more than, just this one this year, she doesn't have to miss school. She can go on the weekend.
Let me ask you, Carlos, what does it mean to you to share this industry that you've grown up in, basically? I mean, you spent your whole life in one form or another. What does it mean to you to share that industry with your kids, with your daughter, I know you have another daughter as well. And also what wisdom have you imparted upon them?
Oh, well, in this business, we deal with a lot of rejection. She's biting into, what is it? A fruit ring? She doesn't want to she's sucking on Jello. My other daughter, Austin, they both did a Rocket Mortgage commercial where they were living next to the crazy cat lady. We did that in COVID, actually, 2021 in Michigan. But I help her deal with the rejection because you audition quite a bit and you don't get a lot of what you audition for. I tell her to really enjoy the aspect of like when you've got something golden, like, because sometimes you don't always feel like recording, even if it's a great show. There's times I don't feel like being on the set of Reno because I know I'm going to wait in the trailer all day. But then you have to tell yourself, You're really lucky. This is a very amazing opportunity. Doesn't mean it's not going to get boring or tedious sometimes. So you teach yourself to the professionalism. Always try to be professional, even if you're not feeling it. Go in that booth, get on that set, deliver, go home, and then complain to us because it is work sometimes. It's not always fun. You got to learn lines. You got to audition and fail, audition and fail, audition and fail, and that's the part nobody sees, right? You're like, I read for that, I read for that, I read for that, I read for that. Oh, got one, got a small job, So I think we can impart on them that it just keeps. She sees me doing audition after audition and not getting it, and it helps her realize that like you just don't always get it. You just got to keep going.
Yeah, I was speaking with one actor on an episode, and they said this crazy thing that's always stuck with me is, as an actor, you're not getting paid for the work you're doing, you're getting paid for all the auditions you didn't get.
Yeah, yeah. Greg Binkley's a character actor friend of mine, and he teaches the class, and he's just like, the best you can do is stay prepared to audition. That's your job, is to be the best prepared actor to do that audition, and getting the job is a bonus. And so at her early age, getting Summer Camp Island and doing other projects, her first job was Doc McStuffins. I knew Maria Estrada, and Riley auditioned and she got it. And very lucky. And sometimes that can be a curse. You think that you're entitled to all these jobs. So, but as an adult and as a child, it's hard to audition and not get picked. And that's what really is hard on child actors, right? You can have this sudden level of fame and then it's not there and you don't comprehend that. Because even as adults, we think things are linear, right? If I do Rocco, I'll do this show, I'll do this show. I'll be just like Tom Kenny. And like, well, Tom Kenny has his sort of trajectory and I have another trajectory, which I love. And it's different, I would love to, it would be amazing to be part of every cast that of a show that you love. But, oh, that's my youngest daughter is probably getting called to do gaming. But yeah, that's what we're teaching, or that she's learning from us, is that it's okay, man. It's just let's go to every premiere that we get a chance to go locally and meet Kevin and Dan Hageman brothers, and talk with them and be excited with them, and let's just have fun. So.
Absolutely. And we're running short on time. We've already kept you long enough. I do want to ask you, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention your amazing character, Deputy James Garcia, that you've been doing since season 1 in 2003.
Yeah.
My two questions are, like, at what point, filming those first couple episodes, first season, like, at what point did you realize, oh, wow, this is going to be huge? And then also on the backside of that, like, what does it mean to still, 20 years later, being called upon to play that character?
Well, we did the first pilot in 2001, 10 years before this lovely child was born. 2001 in San Pedro, California. We knew we had something because we were making the crew laugh. Think all the gaffers, the electrical guys. If you could make the crew laugh, forget it. You've got a good comedy. And we did it, and we presented it to Fox, and Fox passed. And we're like, oh, well, we'll see what happens. A year and a half goes by. Jim Sharp is working at Comedy Central. He knows Ben, Tom, and Kerry. What do you got? We're looking for shows. Well, we got this pilot. Love it. Why don't you reshoot it shot for shot, reshoot it again? And when it went to the series, we just knew. We knew people were going to love it. And within 3 years, we were making a film, Reno 911 Miami in 2006, blowing up a whale on the beach, doing a red carpet premiere at the Chinese Theater in Los Angeles where all these cars wrecked. And we were doing a live red carpet with our characters. And we knew that you just had something golden. You never knew that it was going to last this long. Wendy, Mary, and I were let go after season 5. We all came back in 2018, right before COVID, actually, 2019, late 2019. But we came back again, and I didn't imagine it. And it's been amazing. Quibi falls down. We sent it to Roku to Comedy Central. We do one movie, The Search for Q. We're going to do another movie, the
Christmas Heist.
The Wonderful Heist. Yeah. And so if it comes back again, I'm always there to do it. I can't believe it's gone this long. And Garcia is just that kind of guy. He's total Barney Fife, thinks he's all this and all that. And just to be able to act with Cedric Yarborough and Niecy Nash and Wendy McClendon, Tom and Ben and Niecy and Carrie, it's been amazing. I get to swim with dolphins. And I just never thought that this guy would kind of go that far, but I guess people like them. People like when, ew, we got a little jello all over the screen. People like it when idiots flounder. So, and I hope for her that Rock Talk is one of those characters that keeps going, you know?
Yeah. Obviously, it's obviously very much connected to the audiences. We're gonna let you go. What do you guys? I'll give you a few minutes here to promote whatever you have coming up. What would you like to talk about? Where can people follow you? Let the people know.
Go ahead after you finish your jello. You have your Instagram, right? Rylee Alazraui Instagram. You have a little Twitter. Mom helps her run the site, but you can follow her there. And there's more Star Trek coming up for sure. Well, you're recapping the latest episodes and then waiting to get the nod. What else? What else would you like to say to people that are going to come to Baltimore?
I don't know.
Yeah, like you're excited to see them?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's your first guy.
She's a woman of very few words. That's fine. Mysterious.
Yeah. And me, we got I think it's been out there in the atmosphere, Rock, Paper, Scissors on Nickelodeon, coming sometime in July 2023. More, I think there's Farzar still out there. I'm playing, oh my gosh, what's his name? Zobo, and a couple other characters on Farzar, the wonderful Waco Gunn and Roger Jackson, from Paradise PD. Exploding Kittens, I think that's coming out this year en masse. I think they're calling it Godcat or Exploding Kittens. I play Jorgel, who's kind of a Ed Orgeron type of character. And Bad Crimes, and doing some more Camp Coral and some Beavis and Butthead, some ancillary utility characters on that.
Wait.
And what else?
Is season 2 out? No, it's not
season
out.
2 of Star Trek Prodigy is not out. They just wrapped up their season finale, but that's going to come soon, right?
Why do you say finale?
Finale.
Just
finale sounds like Italian food. You want a calzone or a finale?
Just season 2 is coming. That's all I have to say.
Season 2 is coming. And definitely want to say thank you to all our service people. Thank you for all your service. And it's just amazing that what you do. And we love you guys. Men and women, everybody. We love you for helping serve.
That's awesome. And your social media where people can follow you?
Oh, at Carlos Alazraui, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. It's all the same handle. And I try to put new content up when I can. And yeah, I can't wait to see you guys in Baltimore to see how she does. And just
I have a TikTok.
yeah, you can't promo that one.
I can't.
Mama doesn't like that one. But yeah, I have some more con dates coming up. I'll be in Altoona, Pennsylvania in June. That's June 9th through 11th in Altoona, Pennsylvania. And actually, I'll be in Pensacola, Florida in a couple weeks after Baltimore at the Pensacon.
Why are you going and not me?
Because I don't think you wanted to go.
No, I do.
You didn't want to do 2 in a row, though.
I didn't want to do 2.
Well, we thought it was too much. Then anyways, all their daughters.
You guys are awesome. You guys are outstanding. We love you so much. You're getting so much love in the chats. I mean, literally, people calling out the shows they love, Paradise PD. Everybody shouting out Star Trek Prodigy, saying they're excited for season 2. So you guys are getting just a ton of love. I thank you. Hopefully, we guys can get you back one day to give you the full experience and really dive into the characters and to the history. I absolutely adore your content, your social media. I highly recommend people follow it because you really do put up some fun stuff that just makes me laugh and takes me back to my youth. I appreciate you.
Thank you. And I do want to let people know I grew up with Star Trek with Captain Kirk and William Shatner and all those people. I really was never a Trekkie, and so this pulled me into the canon of the show with Kate Mulgrew and Janeway and all these people. And if you're not a Star Trek veteran, this is a great show to watch with your family and take you into the latest journeys of this crew, of the Voyager crew. It's really fun. It pulls you in. You don't have to be a previous Star Trek fan or watch any of the other iterations.
Definitely. It's definitely like you will see old characters, but it's like a new story of Star Trek. So like I've never seen Star Trek in my life before, and it definitely does make sense in my own in its own way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's a good message. It's about sort of misfits of society being accepted and going out and finding and pulling generations and different species together. You know, that was Gene Roddenberry's sort of core line is still running through this version. And Rock Talk is so lovable.
I've Heard nothing but the best. I haven't seen it myself, I'm being honest. But I've watched clips and I've seen the interviews, and it's so beloved. I've seen all the love that they have out there for the series and for the character. I have people in the chats going, see if they can get Kate Mulgrew on the show. I'm like, look, that's I can't. That's not. We don't do that. That's not.
Next time we see.
Oh, also stay tuned for toys, because toys are coming out soon of the characters.
Oh, the toy line. Okay, all right. She's getting good at the promos.
I got a Murph plushie.
Oh yeah, we got a Murph plushie. That's D. Bradley Baker's character, who's a genius, and maybe, who knows, somebody will bring something that they found to the cons. You know how people at conventions are. I found this in Japantown. What is it? It's a Rocco flying saucer. A Rocco flying saucer. You know.
I can imagine they pull out all the stops. I will be there. I will be at the con. I would love to say hi to you guys.
Yes.
I bring you I have a little show bag gift I'd love to pass on to you guys, just as a thank you for coming on the show, and
And we'll barter.
Sounds good. I always get autographs and stuff, and I give it out to the audience anyway. I love to give. So we'll do something like that. But thank you so much, guys. I'll give you the last 10 seconds here to say goodbye to the audience, and then we'll toss it to another break.
Say goodbye as Rock Dog.
What?
Say pew 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 or whatever.
Bye. What?
See you later. I know how to do voices. I'm a shill.
All right, guys. We're gonna toss. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna toss to a quick break, and we'll be back with more right after this. Shuts.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, right? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, would you think because the show's going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
After all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me told you everything, I bet you cry and run away.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody, we are back. Let me bring in our special guest co-host for the night, Mr. Massey. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
Christ. I didn't, hang on.
Oh,
Hang
what?
on. The bubble's empty. God damn it. God damn it.
Shit.
My bad. My
Can
bad.
they hear me?
They can, maybe, probably not.
What?
It's fine.
Ah,
It's fine. Let's try now.
hey.
There he
Am I back?
is.
Hey. I was just about to compliment you on how great that interview was, but then you fuck bringing me back on. Jesus.
I was trying to get rid of you as quick as I could.
That's
Didn't
fair.
work.
That's fair.
Dude, how adorable were Carlos and Rylee? Oh,
Yeah,
like that-
fantastic. And they seem like genuinely not like bullshitting you nice. Like that was great. And like I said, I watched the whole interview and I thoroughly enjoyed the whole thing.
yeah. If you
And-
watch my
and
show
I don't
more
wanna-
often, you'd like the interviews, but whatever. that's
Right
fine.
now, I don't know. I'm busy, man. I'm busy. I have things to do, like
Right,
TV
right.
and shit. But no, I wanted to say though, and I usually, you know me, I don't like being nice to you, but goddamn, you are a good interviewer. Props to you. Where credits due. But I mean, it was a great interview. And shut up, I hate you. But it was a great interview. They were great. Like super. I was blown away. Very
Yeah,
good.
they were they stayed so much longer than they should have. Apparently Rylee has shooting. She has recordings in the morning, and we were keeping her up. But so nice. And I was talking to Carlos. I said, hey man, please, can we get you back? I want to give you the full hour. I want
Yeah.
to give you the full, like, really dig deep. And he was like, yeah, man, let's do it. Like, he was
Yeah,
up for
for
it.
sure.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely have him back again in the future and really dig into the career. And because honestly, we scratched the surface.
Oh, yeah.
I looked at his IMDb. I looked at his wiki. I looked at his. There's so much. So you like
Yeah.
Rick and Morty? He's in Rick and Morty. He's
I
one of
know,
the voices in Rick and Morty.
I looked it up a little bit while you were on, and I was like, "Fuck!" But I mean, you'd prepare way more for everything than I do, so I wasn't amazed to see that I missed so much information. But yeah, very impressive. I mean, yeah, and they did go long. I was like, because I know they initially said they had a very limited amount of time, and then
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, "Well, shit, they're stealing my spotlight at this point." So
Like these guys got to go. They're taking my
right,
time. These guys got to
prolific
go.
people that with all this talent need to move so I can come back on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think we were digging into Riley's Jello eating time apparently. So
That was
we were
great.
we were digging into her snack time. So I do apologize, Riley, if you're out there. Go and have your snacks. I apologize.
No, but sincerely, man, they were great. I really enjoyed watching that.
Yeah, love them for sure. That was so much fun. And I wasn't blowing smoke. I don't say this. You wouldn't know this, but I don't say this to all my guests. I really am such a fan of his work, and his content is really good. Find him on TikTok. He posts some funny stuff, and his voice work and like him in the booth and him doing different things and silly like people will send him suggestions of like do Rocco meets gets arrested by Deputy Garcia, and he'll start doing the voices back and forth.
Nice.
And
Nice.
it's so much fun. It literally leaves a smile on my face every time I watch one of his videos. So there are a lot of I shouldn't say this as an interviewer. There's a lot of people that have social media, and it's just about like, look at me and look at what I'm doing. But his content really is fun and engaging,
Yeah.
and just tickles me in all the right places. And I'm gonna get shit for saying that, but it
Yeah,
tickles me in all the right places.
You
but
say
yeah.
that to all the boys.
And I say that to all the boys. But yeah, that was fun. That was fun. That was exciting. So we have some time, sir. Would you like to, and I'm saying this slowly to give you time to pick another topic for us to talk about tonight?
I still have the list in front of me. So, and I was prepared to come back into that. But I was going to ask,
Sure.
is it okay for me to, not quite a promo, but to
plug?
shout out another vet just real
Please,
quick?
please go
So
ahead.
I had the pleasure of virtually meeting a guy named Brad. I think it's Remo. I don't want to say his name incorrectly. Brad Primo. And he is the owner of Lead Slingers Bourbon. And I'm kind of a whiskey jerk. You know what I mean? Like if it's not good, I'll say it's not good, but It's really good bourbon. And
So you're saying it's primo bourbon?
it's primo bourbon. I ran out of Irish whiskey on the interview, so I poured myself another one. I was like, you know what? I should mention it. He's a good guy. Good whiskey. Okay. Anyway,
Hey,
my
get
goal
us
is
in
just to
touch. We'll
derail your
bring-
show as
Dude,
much as
no,
humanly
not at
possible.
all. If he's a vet, bro, we love lifting up our vets here. That first and foremost, we love lifting up our vets. Let's get him in contact. We bring him on the show. Maybe not this show because obviously it's pop culture theme, but we got fucking 5 other shows on this station. We bring him on. We plug his shit. We send me a bottle.
I
and
just
we'll
wanted
make it
to
happen.
while I was here, since I'm drinking it anyway. So
Yeah, there you go.
anyway, like I said, I'm just trying to ruin your show. That's why I'm here today. That's why you asked me on.
You're doing a terrible job. Just so you know, you're doing a terrible job at ruining it.
Well, it got mentioned earlier. So the one I'm picking off the list, and I'm picking specifically things I know a little bit about. So I'm glad you gave me a long list.
That's
But,
the point.
Walking Dead. Let's throw The Walking Dead out there.
Oh, The Walking Dead. That is a deep one. That is a deep one.
God damn it! I quit.
No.
I quit. I'm
Wait,
done.
it's a
Till next time.
rich topic here to crack
is.
into because I mean there's so much going on with The Walking Dead. You have the series saying its finale, right? It concluded or did it? No, yes. They showed the finale to the flagship series, right? The core Walking Dead, because we have to be clear, because there's like 120 spinoffs. The core Walking Dead series has aired its finale.
Right.
It has said goodbye to its characters. Now, another franchise is set to conclude this year. So season 8 of Fear the Walking Dead is confirmed to be the last season of the show. That will be this year. Similar to the final season of The Walking Dead, the final season of the Fear the Walking Dead will be broken up into multiple chunks of episodes, with the first run of 6 new episodes kicking off on AMC May 14th, before the final 6 episodes debut later this year. Now, despite the series coming to an end, the Walking Dead franchise is far from over,
Of course.
with a number of spin-off projects on the horizon. So here's just a quick recap on some of those spin-offs. So first and foremost, what's already filming, you have the Maggie and Negan spin-off from The Walking Dead, which was previously announced to debut this April, although recently they've offered an update that the project is now slated for June. So it's been pushed back 2 months. Not a big deal. It's called The Walking Dead Dead City, and it's going to bring back those characters as they go into New York City. So it's going to be The Walking Dead set, obviously, years and years later in New York City.
They were arguably 2 of the better characters, in my opinion, by the way, consistently throughout the run of the original Walking Dead.
I would say so, yeah. If you look at, main stage, I mean, obviously, like your Daryl, your Michonne, your Rick, but yes, Maggie and Negan, obviously key characters in both the comics and the series. So
Little Carl could eat a bag of dicks, though. I hated that kid.
Coral.
I mean, not eat a bag of dicks when he was a kid, but grown,
right.
the character.
As a grown man, he can eat a bag of dicks.
Exactly. I want to clarify that.
Clarify. We do not condone kids eating bags of dicks. We only grown ass adults.
By choice.
So, good callback. Angry Elf says, "Is this the Martha and Thomas Wayne the early years show?" Because for those that don't know, in Batman v Superman, both Maggie and Negan appeared ever so briefly in the flashback where Bruce Wayne's parents die. That they play Thomas and Martha Wayne. They play his parents which was weird because even at the time, it was during the heyday of Walking Dead, and it was Maggie being Maggie and Negan being Negan, and they were not on the same side as they are in the later years. So it was really weird seeing them play all kissy and huggy, mom and dad to little Bruce Wayne in Batman v Superman. But yes, that is true. They did play Martha and Thomas Wayne. So now all these years later, they have their own spinoff show called Walking Dead, Walking Dead Dead City. Now, additionally to that, you have the other spinoff series, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon.
Ooh.
Now, originally, for those that do watch this show, originally we talked about that it was going to be a Daryl and Carol spinoff with Melissa McBride coming back as Carol. She backed out. She backed out of the project, decided she wanted to move on to other things. So they are just repackaging it as a Daryl only show.
Nice.
And apparently it will be him in Europe.
Ooh.
How did Daryl get to Europe when fucking, I don't think, Spirit Airlines probably still a thing in the zombie apocalypse. I mean, they can't get any worse. So
Motorcycle, obviously.
He obviously drove his motorcycle to Europe, obviously.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, it's going to be a big part of the series is him on the motorcycle, apparently.
Yeah.
That really is the thing.
Dude he probably wrote that into his contract because dude loves motorcycles.
Yeah, I got to have my bike.
Yeah.
So there's that, and that's on track to debut later this year. So that's still on track. Now, additionally, there is an as yet untitled Walking Dead spinoff that will bring back Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera, so Rick and Michonne, although that series won't start until 2024. Originally, it was set to be a Rick Grimes movie, and then for whatever reason, talks happen. They've decided to make it another spin-off series, although they're not sure if this is going to be like a limited time series or like a full set to series thing. But yeah, so that will be coming 2024. Let's see. There's a lot of Walking Dead news. Wow. Jesus Christ. But I just wanted to mention that the series finale of The Walking Dead drew more than 2 million viewers, more than any episode since I think it was like the start of 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. But of course, with a show that had been going on for 10 plus years, at the heyday, it was getting about 10 million plus weekly viewers at the top of its game. So
we should throw Walking Dead parties on the reg when they came out.
Nice.
When the first 2 seasons anyway.
Nice. I did something similar. We wouldn't call it a party, but we would gather around and watch the first few episodes of the first season. It's
I call
crazy.
anytime I hang out with more than one person is basically a party in my
It's
world.
a party.
I don't talk to anyone. Yeah.
Well, welcome to this party. I appreciate you joining our party this year. But yeah, no, it really was like for whatever people think, right? Because obviously a lot of people are like, it fell off and this and that. The fact that it became a cultural phenomenon, that there's not a single person on the planet that maybe they don't watch or maybe they haven't watched it, but like of it. It's relevant in a way that like few things get relevant. The fact that it's created multiple spinoffs of shows, that it will continue to make multiple spinoffs of shows, that it's been a hit comic book, a hit. They publish actual novels, actual Walking Dead tied canonical novels, the TV series, the spinoffs, the video game series, card games, board games. I mean, you name it. It reached a cultural relevance where, I was big into Magic the Gathering for a long time. There was a nerd. There was a Magic the Gathering crossover with The Walking Dead. So you could I'm fucking playing my level 12 Rick, with Negan's baseball bat. That was a thing, that was the thing. So, I mean, that's a cultural relevance that few franchises or IPs ever get to reach. So kudos to them.
Well, I feel like that The Walking Dead brought zombie lore back in the biggest way since Romero had done with it. I mean, you had 28 days and 28 weeks that had brought a whole new aspect of it, but it didn't have the same impact as The Walking Dead when it came along. It was like a full resurgence in the zombie genre.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Pete in the chat says Resident Evil versus Walking Dead debate starts now. So, I mean, Resident Evil, give it its due, in its day, revolutionized horror gameplay in video games and stayed a mainstay in video games to today. They're still releasing new Resident Evil video games. And yes, they did have the movies.
Yes, they did.
And they have attempted the Netflix series as well as the other movie, which were not good. But
It's bad when a series like the Resident Evil movies, the with Jovovich in it, are far superior to anything that else has been done with Resident Evil since, with the technology and the source material that they could use,
yeah,
they're still far superior than anything recently, and that is kind of a sad thing.
I mean, it's again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about
Which was
adaptations, where I don't understand. You have the roadmap to something super successful. This is something that people loved. And yet, why do companies struggle to take what's there and make it because like a game like Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2, so classic. The storyline's so classic. The location so classic. Like what makes a game stand out amongst his peers, right? Good writing, good action, good gameplay, obviously, but like the location is a character. Each element of the game, right? Like who doesn't remember Resident Evil 1 going into the first turn of the hallway and you see the zombie for the first time eating the dude, or going down that goddamn hallway where the fucking dogs burst through the glass and you shit yourself every fucking time you walk by a window past that. Like that stuff stays seared into your mind. So how is it so hard to fuck that up?
It's because Hollywood artists have to have their flavor and spin on it. It has to be. You have these writers like, well, I'm a writer, I can write better, or I'm a director and I know I have a vision. I have a vision for how this needs to be, and nobody can just, like you said, take that. This is great. It doesn't need to be changed, other than maybe the gaps filled in a little bit
Sure.
for a story. It's anger inducing at times.
Greg, perfect comment. He says, "Ask Sony. That'll answer your question because they've been fucking everything up for years."
Yeah,
Fair point. Fair point.
100%.
Heath says Resident Evil 4 is a perfect game. I wouldn't argue. Perfect is a stretch. I understand. Perfect is a stretch. It is a phenomenal game. Very, very, very good game. Perfect. I hold perfect to a very high standard. Me being an Xbox purist too, by the way, I'll call a spade a spade. There are some PlayStation exclusive games that are just teetering on perfection. Like I think the original Uncharted's, God of War, especially the new remakes where they're really lore heavy. The Spider-Man games, incredible, and what's the one I'm thinking of? Oh, The Last of Us. That to me stands shoulders and head above, like as far as good gameplay, amazing writing, all of it, just pure packaged. It's so damn good. So, yeah, that don't get me wrong, Xbox has great games, but PlayStation has a couple that just, man, fucking wow. And people can say, "Oh, the graphics and this and that." Like I could play Last of Us on a freaking Nintendo 64, and I feel like the gameplay and the story would still be amazing. Obviously, it wouldn't look as pretty, but I think it would stand.
I think some people
tall.
throw out like a perfect or the best just simply out of nostalgia, right? Like the first Halo, right? Phenomenal, groundbreaking. It was
Awesome.
It crushed it.
Legendary. Yeah.
Right. But and it doesn't hold up in a lot of ways, but for what it is, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I
For
mean,
that
to me,
moment in time. Absolutely.
yeah, there are so many, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater. If you go back and try to play the original ones, they're unplayable. The original ones, not the
I agree.
the
I agree.
relaunches. It's just, or even the first Resident Evil. I mean, the gameplay stands up, but the rest of it is just absolute trash.
The polygons.
Yeah.
Why is his shoulder so pointy? It's
I mean,
a triangle.
let's get real. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening or not Link's Awakening, Link to the Past on the
Link to the
Super
Past.
NES was the last perfect game.
Okay.
Prior to that, it was Super Mario Brothers 3.
I don't know. What was the one that came out on the N64? Not Majora's Mask. The one before that was
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time. I argue that is one of my favorite games of all time. I mean, just just everything about it. Like for what, like Super Mario 64. Now we're getting into a whole game debate, but that's what this show's about. But like Super Mario 64, the way it changed the genre and took Mario into the 3D realm and all this and all that. But I feel like Zelda was the game that you were like, holy shit, this is what, like, we're living in the future.
This is the future. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the goddamn future. Like I can, yeah, just everything about that. Yeah, so damn good, so damn good. And yes, Squirrels, Last of Us movie now streaming on HBO Max. Last of Us series, because it's going to be multiple episodes. And we talked about that earlier in the show. It's so good. If you didn't hear my rant, not even a rant. What's the good version of a rant?
A rave.
Thank you. If you didn't hear my rantingly rave review of just how good The Last of Us is, it is a 10 out of 10. I hate to say it is a 9.5 of a show. Like, first episode. Remember, we're only basing it on first episode. So first episode, 9.5. It's just so damn good. So, Massey, I'm gonna give you my login, bro. You gotta get in there. You gotta watch it. It's so good.
I'm game.
All right. You want to pick one more? We'll do one more topic, and then we'll start shutting her down.
Yeah, we'll do one more. And just because the only thing that came to mind when I read this one was the really terrible 80s drama. And so I know that has nothing to do with this, but let's go Vision Quest.
Ah, yes. Yeah, Vision Quest. That's definitely not about the 80s drama. So you're familiar with the Disney Plus stuff and what's going on with all the Marvel stuff. Like, you're aware of it. Unfortunately. So there was
I keep up with some. I do love the Marvel universe as much as I don't. But yes, unfortunately, I am aware. Yeah.
So there was the WandaVision series, right? That came and went. And great. It was so good. Obviously, Wanda appeared again in the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Went evil on us, and she's done. But if you remember, at the end of the WandaVision series, we were left with a vision, not a vision, the Vision. Which, without getting all convoluted, is the original Vision, but rebuilt and now white and wiped of kind of his memory, but kind of replanted his memory. And so, I don't know. He's all over the place.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. He's existential crisis. Like, I'm white now and I don't really know. And am I real? Am I not real? Whatever. So word has come out. It's not officially announced.
Okay.
But inside the rumor mill and the sphere of influence, word has come out that Marvel Studios is developing a new Disney Plus series called Vision Quest. It's a new show focusing on Paul Bettany's hero and his place within the MCU. Variety now brings word confirming work on the series, revealed to be assembling a writer's room as recently as last week. They were assembling the writer's room. According to the trade, Paul Bettany will reprise his role once again for a series which has WandaVision head writer and executive producer attached to lead the writer's room. No word on who else will be part of the writer's room or the series yet. Plot details on the series are also obviously unclear, but the trade reports that it is believed the show will focus on the White Vision seen at the end of WandaVision, which makes sense, obviously.
Sure.
I mean, in the sense that you have, like, let's be honest, if you know the Marvel movies, Vision is really an all-powerful being. I mean, he can phase through things, he can fly, he can shoot laser beams. Like, he's really this all-powerful being. And we last saw him in WandaVision kind of just fucking off to God knows where. So the idea that, like, well, we'll just never know what happened to him, like, it just doesn't make sense to leave a piece off the board unless you have some intent for him down the line. And of all, like, you look at phase one, or not even phase one, I mean, like, the what they call it, the Infinity Saga, the first saga as a whole, of all the characters, Vision had the smallest role going into the biggest movies, Infinity War and Endgame. Because in Infinity War, he was wounded right off the bat. So he was off the board as a player. And then at the end of that movie, gets destroyed.
Yeah. Gotta get that sweet stone.
Yeah. And then even when they come back from the snap, he's still dead because he never died from the snap. He died pre-snap. Therefore, he wasn't reborn or rematerialized because he was dead. So realistically, like, if you look at a character like that he never got his chance to shine. You know what I mean? As far as, like, his big action set piece. We saw him fight in Age of Ultron briefly. We saw him briefly fight in Civil War. But outside of that, we really never gotten that true, like, Vision whooping ass like every other character has had a spotlight to do. Fucking Hawkeye has gotten some pretty badass scenes in some of the movies, and Vision really hasn't gotten that. So it makes sense that they bring him back. It makes sense that down the line, because we know Kang the Conqueror is coming. And let me tell you, for those of you who don't know Kang the Conqueror, some bad shit's gonna happen. Some bad, like you thought the snap was bad, you thought Thanos was bad. Kang the Conqueror is, yeah, it's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get real ugly, real ugly.
That's why they're gonna have to bring in the X-Men. That's why it's gonna have to happen.
I mean, believe it or not, yeah. I think that is a true statement. I think
Damn right.
thematically, I think things are going to go downhill for our current slate of Avengers, which will force the new age of heroes to include like Fantastic Four and X-Men to have to step up so that they can ultimately win the day.
Yeah.
Like
praise the Marvel gods for finally bringing the Fantastic Four to the MCU. That's
oh my God.
If I can say nothing else, that's my only statement of the evening. That and Disney, if you have to justify it, it's probably fucking stupid.
Please give an example here, because I want to make sure I'm tracking your thing here.
I'll give you an example of the entire ramble you just went off on Vision.
Sure.
If you have to justify it that much for it to be a thing, it's probably not worth being a thing. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. Heath says one word, Wonder Man. That's 2 words. God damn it! Don't lie to me.
Words.
That's 2 words.
Is there a hyphen?
I don't know. Does Wonder Man actually? Now that I think about it, I think Wonder Man is 1 word.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fucking, I look like a thesaurus. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm curious. I am curious. You know, we know, those of us in the loop, we know that this massive story they're telling, they're already wrapping up phase 5. Or I'm sorry, they're wrapping up phase 4 with Black Panther, and Quantum Mania, which is coming out next month, is the start of phase 5. We know at the tail end of phase 6, right? The place that was like the Infinity War Endgame end book of that saga for us, for this saga, will be Avengers Kang Dynasty, followed by Avengers Secret Wars. So, I mean, being a fan of the comics and knowing those are buzzwords, like those pull straight from very big, massive events that were in the comics. So I can honestly, without spoiling anything, because I mean, I'm not involved in the movies or know anything, but it's going to get real bad. It's going to get real bad. Like those characters were like, I wish I just got snapped away, kind of bad. Like
Right.
I would kill to be, or literally, I would kill to be snapped away, because it's going to get real ugly, real ugly. And, you know, obviously Disney's pushing some of more of the adult themes with, like, you know, Multiverse of Madness had a lot more horror elements, and, you know, Falcon and Winter Soldier had more like racial elements. And so they're definitely pushing the envelope.
Well, they're bringing in Deadpool officially to the MCU next movie.
Deadpool. I don't know how the fuck they're going to do that. I'm so fascinated. I'm so fascinated how they plan to introduce. I think I have a theory. The X-Men will be introduced in this Ant-Man movie. I feel like, I'm sorry, did I say X-Men? The Fantastic Four will be introduced in this movie, but in a way that, like, it doesn't take away from the movie. It's just going to be like kind of an aside, like, like holy shit, I think that's the Fantastic Four, like, kind of thing. But that's besides the point. I'm just so fascinated. I'm so fascinated. Like, man, they have these pivotal tentpole franchises in the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, and we know they're coming. We know they are, right? Like, that, it's obvious. Yeah. But they're playing coy with, like, actually giving us details. But at the same time, they're announcing, like, oh yeah, we're gonna do Ironheart, and we're gonna do fucking, I don't know, Jack of all trades, like all these random ones. You know, we're doing Armor Wars, we're doing all these other things, and it's like stop teasing us. Like, fucking Fantastic Four, X-Men, like
those are huge. Those are huge. Yeah.
You know, so my theory too is maybe, you know, to avoid, I don't know, to to maybe mix things up, right? Because even all the new stuff we have are kind of like spin-offs of, right? Because we have
Yeah.
kind of a spin-off of Black Panther, kind of a spin-off of Iron Man, kind of a spin-off of Hawkeye, kind of a spin-off of
Right.
Thor. Like we have all these kind of spin-offs that are so they're like, you know what? Well, let's wait until that reaches its like mass saturation when people are like,
Mhm.
all right, we're kind of sick of these characters, and then be like, all right, wipe the board. Now here's Fantastic Four and X-Men to like, you
Dude,
know,
I swear to shit, if they bring either one of those franchises back as a Disney Plus show, I will boycott Marvel for the rest of my life.
no,
Forever.
well, here's the
Forever
thing.
and ever.
I will say, they've already said Fantastic Four is going to be a movie. We don't have any further details outside of that. It's
Right. I
coming.
know that. Yes.
X-Men, I'm going to disagree with you respectfully. I think it would be a really cool series to have each episode focus on one character
Okay.
outside of the X-Men. Like their history.
That's different.
I-
That's different.
Right, like an anthology series, right? And then the culmination of that could be a movie bringing them all together.
Now, see, I will get on board with you for that. I'm just saying, if they made the X-Men as a series,
Right.
fuck you, Marvel and Disney combined.
Well, they're bringing back on Disney Plus. They're bringing back. Remember the '92 X-Men cartoon?
Yeah,
They're bringing that back. They are making.
that cartoon was awesome. Rogue back then.
Oh man. Oh
Yeah,
man.
baby.
Oh man. So many memories. But yes, they're bringing back the same cast, same art style. They're
Nice.
like, imagine if we picked up that show 3 days later. That's where they're starting.
I'm in. I'm in on that. for
Yeah,
sure.
so I'm very fascinated by that. I'm very fascinated to see like how does that work today,
Yeah.
so to speak. So because that's a very 90s cartoon, a very
Very much so.
90s cartoon. Which come on, one of the best intros of all time. The top 2 intros of all time. Well, the Spider-Man theme from the 90s cartoon and the X-Men theme, heavy metal, just guitar licks, just going hard. I was gonna say the Batman one was pretty good, but that was very like orchestral, you know, the but yeah, no, the Spider-Man theme and the X-Men theme are so seared into my brain, I can pull them up without even like just it's there. Awesome. Well, thank you for picking that. I love talking about that stuff. All right, guys. We've reached that point of the night. We have been going now for a solid 2+ hours. This has been so much fun. First, I want to thank my special co-host, Massey. Thank you for joining me tonight. I really, really appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us. And
I appreciate you having me. It's been super fun.
it's been something, right? It's been a thing. It's been a thing.
It's been a mistake. This whole thing's been a mistake.
Such a mistake. Such a mistake. No, I really do appreciate you, man. You're a ton of fun. Hopefully we'll have you back in the rotation at some point and have you back. If I can't find anybody else. But yeah, man. So, okay, for all you guys, for all the rest of you that are still here, thank you for hanging out with us. This has been an absolute blast. I want to thank my guests, Carlos and Rylee Alazraui. That's a man. That's a tongue twister.
So good.
And I have
so good.
I have terrible names. I'm reading your guys' comments. You're funny. What else do we got? So guys, tune in. Sorry,
I've derailed your whole fucking show.
No, I'm reading the comments. You guys are funny. I can't chew bubble gum and talk at the same time. So what else we got here at the station? So tune in, guys. Monday nights, Monday edition. It's where we talk about all the news and politics of the day. Tuesdays, Pop Culture Warrior right here with me and a special guest host. Wednesdays, we've got Radar, who was my past co-host, now has his own show, The Smoke Pit Wednesdays, talking about all that E4 mafia nonsense you guys be getting up to. Thursdays is Sergeant's Times. That's for all your military news, up to dates from the senior NCO and up perspective. Fridays, we got Friday Night Freedom, which is your awesome headbanger of the end of the week, where we're just doing some fun stuff, interviewing some great guests. Saturdays, currently we don't have a show, but one is coming soon. Sundays, we have the Sports Bar, going over all the latest and greatest in what's happening in the sports world. That's a great new show. So we are continuing to bring awesome new content, so much more. We have so many changes coming to the station. We are growing. Guys, if you are interested in coming on board, we're looking for content creators. We're looking for show hosts. We're looking for co-hosts. We're looking for social media guys. We're looking for graphics designers. If you're a writer, we're looking for people that can write articles for the website. Like, whatever special skill you have, you want to come, we would love to have you. We want you to come all over us. All right. We are desperate for it. Okay. And we will welcome you with open arms. And so just go to WTFNationRadio.com. You can contact at WTFNationRadio.com. Let us know. We'd love to have you join the team. We're always looking for people, always looking for content. We're going to be, 2023 is our year. I'm just putting it out there. We're going to be doing more, being more Massey. I don't even know if you know this, but I'll be going to Super Bowl Media Week. I'll be working.
Oh, fuck off.
I'll be working. I just love rubbing it in your face. Oh God, I get off on it so hard. I'll be so guys. We'll have an episode for you next week, but don't forget with special guests, obviously. But don't forget the week following, the next 2 weeks following that. So the 31st of January and the 7th of February, we will not have a show. 31st because it's my birthday and I don't want to, and the 7th because I will be covering Super Bowl Media Week in Arizona, US of A, at doing that fun stuff. So I'll be shooting a bunch of content and posting stuff to the page. Mr. Massey, before we log off, is there anywhere that you would like to share your social media, plug your own stuff so that the fine people at home, if they've enjoyed you as much as I have, they can follow you?
You know what? All of my social media either is not existent or private, but my other podcast that we actually revamped, it's going to be monthly now for the B3F. It's just B3F podcast, on all the tags. And my now defunct show that actually is going to have its last episode aired probably next week is More Than War, and it interviews combat vets. And just because of life and time and availability of stuff, it's been a good 6 episodes, and they'll probably come back in the future, but it's going to be a pause for now. But I got some cool stories for some cool vets that are on there, and that's MTW podcast on all the platforms. But regardless of all that, man, I appreciate you having me on. It's been fun, and you owed me, so if nothing else.
I lost the bet, guys. I'm so sorry about this. I apologize. But yeah, man, maybe we can convince you to come on full time. Who knows?
I'd love to come on, man. This has been fun.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're gonna call it a night. Thank you for watching another awesome edition of Pop Culture Warrior. I'm, of course, your host, CQ. This has been Massey. We have tons more fun stuff coming up for you. Tune in shows the rest of the week, and yeah, man, like I said, 2023 is going to be big for us. So thank you for all you guys that have hung in and watched and participated, and look forward to a lot more cool stuff. More guests. I've got guests scheduled until the end of, I think, February, and I'm still putting out guests past that. So it's going to be a fun couple months. Let's enjoy the ride. Say goodnight, Massey.
Good night, everybody. Sweet sleeping.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Shots.
Doc! Oh, no! We're too late! We missed it! Oh, jeez, this is heavy. Oh, wait a minute, Doc, I got a time machine. I'm just gonna punch in the coordinates. Pop Culture Warrior, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WTF Nation Radio. Now crank this bad boy up to 88 miles per hour.
Bye.